Hello everybody, welcome to part 2. If you guys haven't seen part 1, make sure you watch that first. In today's video, I'm going over how to avoid FOMO during planner season. This video was actually suggested by Mr. Kane. I'm going to put the user up on the screen if I can, right here. Thank you so much for this video idea. It is something that I personally experienced and I think this is going to be really helpful. So without further ado, let's get started. So when we say FOMO, what do we mean, guys? FOMO is the fear of missing out. So maybe, you buy a hobonichi just because you're so scared of what would happen if you didn't buy a hobonichi, right? You're watching all these unboxing videos, you're watching these hauls, maybe it's Sterling Ink. She just released some beautiful new covers and you're like, oh my gosh, if I don't get that mulberry deep purple color and I see everybody else with it, I'm gonna lose my mind. And this can get, again, very expensive very quick, and you're playing a dangerous game because you can accrue 3, 4, 5 planners and maybe only use 1 or 2 of them. So how do we avoid FOMO? Well, for starters, FOMO is natural and there's really no way to avoid it, but I'm going to go into some ways that you can kind of cope or make it reside a little bit. So number 1, before doing anything else, just like in my last video, set yourself a budget. Say, this is my budget and I do not feel comfortable exceeding this certain amount of money. And that's okay, because you know what? You work hard for your money, right? And blowing it on a planner is sometimes not the best idea, even though they're really fun. Trust me, I understand. You want to set a budget and you want it to be a hard budget, okay? Not something that you can be like, well, if I go $30 over, that's okay. Set yourself a hard budget. And number 1, the first step is going over your needs again. But your needs in this video is a little bit different from last video. Last video, I was a little more generous about what your needs are. This video, you're going to identify your core needs. These are the core features of a planner that if it doesn't have these features, you cannot use it, okay? So maybe it's that you absolutely have to have a monthly. So analyze those core needs, and if your current system is already meeting those core needs, don't feel pressure to switch. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know that people are really enthralled with trying something new, or maybe they're a little bit bored with their current planner system. And if that is you, then I would focus on customization rather than switching the entire system, okay? Think about customizing your cover. Could you add more stickers? Could you play around with different layouts? Something like that. Because again, finding a system that works for you is the most important. And to that, I added a little note to not compare, okay? Your needs are different from someone else's. I know it goes without saying, but let's say you watch a video and someone just purchased a hobonichi weeks because they're starting a new recipe thing and they want to track their recipes, their meal plan, and you think to yourself, wow, I want to do that too. That's totally okay, but you have to think to yourself, is that something that you really need, or is that something that you feel like you should do because you're kind of comparing the way in which you're using your planners? Or maybe your favorite planner person is doing this type of layout and it's not really realistic for you, but gosh, their handwriting is so nice, and if you could make yours look like theirs, you would be happy. This is when comparison can make things really complicated, because you're going to want things that other people have just because the way that they're using it. Handwriting can actually play a really big part. Guys, understand that your handwriting does not look like theirs. Not throwing shade, I'm just saying that things might not look the way that you think they will, or you might not be able to write as small as they will very comfortably. I remember when I was watching Lindsay Scribbles one of the first times, and in her hobonichi weeks, oh my gosh, guys, her handwriting is just absolutely beautiful. Go watch her videos, not spons, but and I thought to myself, oh my god, I want to get a hobonichi weeks and I want to do it just like hers. But in reality, that was not something that was realistic for me and not something that I actually needed. So that's very important, to not compare your needs with someone else's. Number 2 is I want you to limit the exposure that you have to all of these beautiful planner releases. I know that it's quite overwhelming because everybody's announcing their pre-orders and they're giving little teasers, and it's, you know, exciting, and you're kind of being fed this content and you're like, oh my god, well, Hobonichi just released these beautiful new covers and I need it, right? But at the same time, Just Scribble just announced she's releasing her planners and they look beautiful, and it can be very overwhelming. And so this is not to say to not consume any content, because how can I say that being a content creator? No, I'm just saying you want to limit the amount that you're receiving this. So maybe you are not following them on social media, maybe you only look at releases via YouTube when you search it up yourself. Or maybe you're only following some of these people on social media, but you're not subscribed to their email list, so you don't get those updates. Just making sure that you're not so available to everybody's products, because then that you become the most perfect consumer and you are going to be buying all those things. Okay? And the third thing you're going to do is delay purchases. I know that once again, there is this pressure. You really want to buy the pre-order because there's a scarcity mindset, right? You feel like, well, if I don't get one now, if I don't pre-order one now, I'll never get one of these planners. But the fact is, a lot of planner FOMO comes from the pre-order season. Once you've pre-ordered a planner, that's when the FOMO sets in, because you're like, well, should I have gotten this planner? Right? When it actually hits 2025 and you have already pre-ordered your planner, but all of a sudden something comes out, that's when the FOMO is really going to set in. So I'm not, do as I say, not as I do, because I do have a pre-order in my head that I am really wanting. But my recommendation, if you're smart, unlike myself, you're going to wait and you're not going to do a pre-order, okay? You're going to wait for the first round of pre-order to be done, and then when it hits like September, October, November, then you can kind of start looking at planners again, and then you can watch videos and you can kind of go from there. But I recommend not doing a pre-order until you're absolutely certain, because that's where most of the FOMO is going to come from. Okay, then number 4, you're going to practice gratitude, because gratitude is a lovely thing, and the best thing you can do is appreciate what you already have. Make sure that you're still using your planners. I know that sometimes people fall off right now and they kind of are like so on to the next thing that they stop using their current planners, but really appreciate what you have. And like I said, if your current system is working, focus on customization rather than a whole new system. That's really important. So you want to appreciate what you have, show gratitude, and be thankful that you can watch your needs kind of develop and be an observer of that. And number 5, this is the most important thing, is that planning should suit you. Your planner is a tool. It's an addition. It's an addendum. You do not require like anything more. There is no such thing as a perfect planner. You just want a planner that's going to be functional and that's going to work as a tool to help you with your life. Your planner should not be your life. It should help you with your life. Oh my God, I feel like I should really practice what I preach, but truly, your planner should be an addition to you, and you shouldn't have to form your needs around the aesthetic of a planner just because you like it. That is not going to be conducive to planning, which is kind of ironic. And if this is something that you really struggle with, and if you feel like you kind of have a hard time with FOMO because you put your needs aside to an aesthetic that you really like, then honestly, go on Reddit. You can go to r-planners and you can ask, does anyone dealing with FOMO surrounding this planner? And maybe someone will be like, you know what, I have that planner and it's not as great as it sounds. Or you can go to r-planner minimalism, and there are people that just have like their little baby notebook and they're making it work, and it's super functional. So those are just some things that I want you to consider when you're heading into the planner season. I really hope that this was helpful for you. And I'm trying to make sure people aren't getting too overwhelmed, because I know I myself am. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe. It really helps me. I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.